Happy Sunday, everybody. It's Aaron Christensen of Horror 101 with Dr. AC, and welcome back to Scare-A-Thon 2024, benefiting the Women's Reproductive Rights Assistance Project. If you'd like to know more about the fundraiser, go to this video right up there, and you can get all the details. There'll also be a link to that video at the end of this one. Today, we're going to be talking about The Guyver from 1991, directed by Steve Wang and Screaming Mad George. I'm imagining that most people watching this show know that Screaming Mad George was one of the rock stars of makeup and creature effects in the 80s and 90s. This was one of his rare directorial efforts. He and Steve Wang paired up for it, but they also were in charge of the makeup effects and the creature effects. And boy, howdy, are there a lot of them. The Guyver is a live-action spin-off from the anime series, which was itself inspired by a manga, a comic book. And it basically follows the story of a superhero who has organic body armor, and he's fighting off aliens who are trying to take over the Earth. Aren't they always? And that's basically all the story is that there's a superhero and there's bad aliens and they're all fighting each other. And there are some amazing creature effects. The monster suits are fantastic. I mean, pretty much what we've got here is a tokusatsu, kind of an Ultraman, Kamen Rider. A younger generation probably recognizes, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, where you got superheroes who are fighting monsters, lots of martial arts going on, lots of action. And these monster suits are fantastic and they're very practical. I have so much respect for these suit actors who are doing all these martial arts moves in these big rubber suits. It's pretty incredible. What's also incredible is the list of people who were involved, in addition to Steve Wang and Screaming Mad George. And you should absolutely look both of those up on IMDb and just scan their credits, because you'd be like, oh my gosh, they've done so many great things in the horror, sci-fi, fantasy realm. Our headliner is none other than Mark Hamill. Yes, Luke Skywalker himself, although this is in his post-Star Wars phase, where he was doing things like John Carpenter's body bags, and he was rocking a really perhaps ill-advised mustache. Also in the cast are Vivian Wu and Reanimator's David Gale, which should come as no surprise because Brian Usna, who produced Reanimator and From Beyond and several of Stuart Gordon's other films, and directed Society, one of the great surrealist efforts, which has makeup effects by Screaming Mad George. Brian Usna is our producer of this one. But wait, there's more. Michael Berryman is in this. Linnea Quigley has a cameo. Jeffrey Combs has a cameo, playing a character called Dr. East, as opposed to Dr. Herbert West. Further down the credits and the makeup effects, we have people like Wayne Toth, who did House of a Thousand Corpses with Rob Zombie, and Gabe Bartalos, who did the Basket Case movies. And would you believe it, we have JJ himself, Jimmie Walker, Mr. Dynamite from Good Times back in the 70s, and he's playing pretty much a character who is Jimmie Walker. And I doubt very much that Jimmie Walker's inside the suit playing the alien that Jimmie Walker turns into, but it's fun to imagine. And his alien character, by the way, looks a lot like a big gremlin from Gremlins. As I've mentioned several times, the suits are fantastic, and we jump right in. Like in the first 5 minutes, we see some creature transformations, and then beasts are fighting each other, and things pretty much go along that vein for the next 90 minutes. Now, there's not a serious bone in this movie's body because it's just goofy from the start. And I can see how this would have been a huge hit with the kids back in the 90s. This was my first time ever seeing it. I'd seen it on the shelf for many years and just never bothered to pick it up. Nobody was pushing it on me, and I say, shame on you people. Why weren't you telling me to check out The Guyver? Luckily, the good folks at Unearthed Film Classics have given us The Guyver in a 3-disc collector's edition. It's got a slipcover like so, which reveals cover art. But wait, reversible cover art. So you basically get 3 different kinds of covers, plus you get the UHD, you get the regular Blu-ray, and then you have a CD of the soundtrack. And then check this out. You get some liner notes. This is a fantastic collector's edition. It is truly, for those who are fans of The Guyver, this is the one to pick up. There are 2 commentary tracks, one from Screaming Mad George and Steve Wang, and the other from Evil Ted Smith and Wyatt Weed, both of whom are also effects artists. There's also a brand new 35-minute interview with Brian Usna. There's a 60-minute interview with Screaming Mad George. There are suit tests. There's a gag reel. There are all sorts of alternate takes and trailers for different regions. It is a fantastic collection. And I highly, highly, highly recommend anybody who has fond memories for this film invest in this release. You will not be sorry. Because how often do you get to talk about the Zoalords and the Zoanoids? I love the opening crawl where you have this massive exposition dump where the narrator is talking about everything that's going on. You have Zoalords and Zoanoids and the unit and Chronos. There's just so much information that gets piled on you. And then you get thrown into the rubber suit land and everything is awesome. I should probably mention that the whole thing is based on characters by Yoshiki Takaya, who came up with the comic book in the first place. And it is followed by a sequel, Guyver Dark Hero from 1994, which was also directed by Steve Wang. So that is the Guyver from 1991, available now from Unearthed Films Classics. Pick it up. And this is Scare-A-Thon 2024, again, benefiting the Women's Reproductive Rights Assistance Project. Please make a donation via the link below in the description of this video, and hope you all have a fantastic week ahead. See you tomorrow.